Just slowly getting this all done. So I'm seeing a couple of patches of grass we're not getting here. That's strange. Why has Mrs. Epser come home early? That's odd. I may need to go silent in a minute if she needs to talk to me. But I'll see. Fairly sure if we run down here and back again, that should get all of the grass patches that were missed by the worker done. And then we've just got the wide swaths up to the telephone poles and up to the island of trees in the middle. Kind of see why you didn't want this field as an arable field with all the stuff in the way. Okay, that one's done. Turn that back over. That's all done. Very tiny bits along here that got missed. That's the problem with these ploughs, they're not exceptional coverage. But their operating speed is higher than a culti plough. I think they work shallower than a culti plough as well. Okay, do I attempt to prang the pole with the plough? Nope. The pole is unreal. Not real. Okay. So that's good to know. We can drive through the poles. So I will be doing that. Just close your eyes if you want reality, or this to be more realistic. Okay, that bit there, I can see a little patch of grass at the end here. And that one done. So we'll do, actually I think this is possibly the width of the plough. So we'll do this bit. Knock the telephone pole over again. Done. Oh, that'll be another advantage of the new house. We won't be having the noise of the, what do you call it, the garage door opening and closing when I'm streaming. New house, the garage is detached and much wider than our current garage. So we're easily going to be able to get 2 vehicles in it, and the yard, the lawn tractor and all the other crap that's currently in our garage. Plus, not all the crap that's currently in our garage is going to end up in the new one. I got a lot of wood down there and other stuff, and that's actually going to end up in the basement because that's where I'm going to be wanting to use it. Okay. Done that. Come about. Looks like we may be able to get this in one pass too. Maybe not. Maybe yes. We will have to wait and see, because I don't have the camera far enough back to see how wide the plough's actually doing. I'm guessing there's a tiny little bit you could probably do with a 3-board plough. Maybe not, maybe a bit wider. But that's done, so that's good. We'll do the other strip that got missed because of the other telephone pole, and I'll go round the island a few times. Then we can get on with spreading lime. While this guy finishes the field off for us. This, we have the potential of actually doing in 2 passes, because I think I've got that blade just at the right point. Ooh, that's too far over to the right. It's too diagonal, and that is possibly exactly in the right spot. Yeah, I'd say that's good. I'm going to flip the plough so we can do this bit here. Oh. So we'll go round once at least. Make sure that we get everything. And there go the Spitfires again. I may be too tight on this turn. Okay. So most of it. Oh, I have the developer mod loaded. So give me a second. I'll finish this stretch. F11. Easy development commands. So I am able to add money. No idea what all this stuff is. I can tip some stuff to the ground, so I can just make a pile of wheat somewhere. I can move vehicles around. I can add logs. I can add pallets or stuff. Lots of stuff. I can add bales. I can cheat stuff into the silo. I can change the time of day, set the weather type. I can turn off the ambient sounds. I can toggle the wildlife, and right here I can turn flight mode on, and I can turn on super strength. So I have super strength turned on. Speed multiplier, I can run faster. And I also, there's an extra time scale, so I can speed up time to times 2000. You're supposed to be able to set the field state, and I was unable to do that. So I don't know what's going on there. It may be a seasons thing. It may be I'm not able to figure out how this thing works. And you can do things with vehicles as well. So it's basically a mod that you can use if you're a developer to set up conditions on your map so you can test stuff out, but also it can be used by a player to cheat in money and other stuff. Now obviously, since I am treating this as a continuation to Lawfolds, I have a bunch of money tied up in Lawfolds, and I'm bringing that over in small, 1.5 million, small chunks every so often. But I want to try and control how much money I bring into the into this map, because I don't want to be in a state where I bought so much stuff that I then can't afford to maintain it with the farm income. So I have to be very, very careful how much I end up using, so that we can keep this playthrough running. It's very, very easy to start off a map and buy so much stuff and take out a loan and buy so much more stuff that what ends up happening is you can't afford to maintain it with the income your farm is generating. And when that's the case, you've messed up. Your game's over. So a good rule of thumb when playing Farm Sim: don't borrow too much money. I don't think we've borrowed any money right now. Yeah, our loan's at 0. But yeah, you just don't borrow too much money. I have seen suggested only borrow money if you need to do something to make money. So borrow money if you need a harvester, because obviously you have a load of crop in the field and you need to get that crop out of the field, because that's how you're going to make money. Don't buy a harvester that you can't afford. Bear in mind that the crop you've got in the ground is going to have to pay for the loan you've taken out. Plus it's going to have to pay for seed, fertilizer, and anything else you need to set the field up as usable the following year. So it's all a case of I don't want to borrow money to buy seed and fertilizer if I can avoid it, because I'm going to have that loan for half a year before I can repay it. Now obviously if you're not playing seasons, it's not quite as critical, because you're going to be harvesting the field tomorrow, so that's not a big deal. But don't say, oh, I need a harvester, I'll just go out and buy the most expensive harvester I can find, because you're never going to pay that back. Underestimate what you need. So you need a harvester. I mean, a field this size, it's huge. I know I want a big harvester for it, but we go and look at harvesters. Dominator Lexion 8900, 500,000 when you add the header. I don't know that the income from this field is going to cover the cost of that harvester. This harvester, half the price. Now this uses a 25-foot header, this uses a 12-meter header. 12 meters is a 36-foot header. So the header on this is 2/3 the size of the header on this one. So maybe at half the price, this is the better harvester to get. It's just going to take me longer to harvest and cart, but that's not a problem. I can make do with this one, and I can possibly afford a £200,000 loan with the income from harvesting the fields. Don't get extravagant with your tractors. Have enough machinery that you can do what you need to do in the time that you have available to you. Now, technically, I have been extravagant with my tractors. I've got two very big, very expensive tractors. But it allows me to get the work done. So it's not something that worries me right now. Plus, I paid cash for them. Now, I'm not going to go out and buy a Zerion because I can't afford it. Without taking out a loan, and that's a bad business plan, because the Zerion's never going to make me money directly. And I have two big tractors that can do exactly the same jobs the Zerion's doing. I just have to wait for them to be available to get the work done. You need seed, you need fertilizer, obviously, because if you don't have seed and fertilizer, your fields can't make money. It's not doing a very good job of this, is it? Well, I'll let it continue. But buying land, yes. Take out money, buy land. Because if you get yourself in money problems, you can sell that land immediately and pay off the loan, regardless of what you've planted in it. But you never lose money on land. You always lose money on equipment. So, like I said, we've got very limited equipment here. I have a plough, I have a cultivator, I have one seeder. I don't have a harvester. I've got two big tractors, so we can be, this tractor's ploughing. I can take the Challenger out with the spreader and put lime down on this field. before this tractor's finished what it's doing. Once the lime's down, I could take I could put the plough to one side, hitch up the seeder on this, and do some seeding. I have today and tomorrow to plant stuff. I could, I believe, plant into summer, but I am risking running into winter, and I am risking running out of time. Soybeans, 10 degrees. I might have screwed up. That's why we planted sunflowers on the upper field, because the temperature's cool enough or warm enough for sunflowers, it's not warm enough for soybeans. I might put sunflowers on this field as well then. But I don't want crop maturing at the end of fall, because I am expecting to have a very small harvesting window with lots of rain and lots of problems. And that's when you look at it and say the only way I'm going to get my money back from this field is I need a big harvester, because I've got 2 hours to harvest this field, and a small harvester will not do it in time. But you watch some of Arthur's startups, and he gets the biggest loan he can, and he buys some land, he buys all the equipment he needs before he even needs it. And then, 2-3 hours into his playthrough, it's kind of, I don't have enough money to buy seed, or I don't have enough money to buy fertilizer. If you can't afford seed, you've got a problem. If you can't afford fertilizer, skip it this time around. Your yield is going to be less, but at least you're going to have something that you can harvest that's going to be money for next year. Yes, it's nice to have your crops fully fertilized, but it's not necessity to have your crops fully fertilized. I can't afford a weeder, or I can't afford the herbicide. Don't sweat it. It's a reduction of 15% on your yield. You're still going to have that yield, and the whole point is you need the money so you can keep the farm going. But you'll find, even on my normal playthroughs, my younger time playthrough, I haven't borrowed money. I worked my butt off doing fertilization contracts in order to raise enough money so that I could afford a very, very small harvester to get the harvesting work done. But then I've only got very, very small fields there, so a very, very small harvester wasn't an issue. I want another tractor on Hungertsheim. I can't afford it, so I'm living with my tiny tractor, and we make do until such time as I have a bunch of money. But for year 2 on Hungertsheim, the plan is buy more fields. I've got a strip of grassland right next to the yard which is unused. My plan is to plough that under. I've got a plough, I've got a cultivator, I've got a seeder, so we're going to plant some stuff in it, and that's going to increase my income. But my estimate on Hungertsheim, with the 3 fields I have, I'm going to make $30,000 or 30,000 euros in the first year. That's going to buy me seed and fertilizer for next year. But then so are all the contracts I'm doing. All of the fertilization I did in the first year was paid for by buying fertilizer to do a fertilizing contract, so I could get paid, so I could afford to buy more fertilizer. But at that point, you're buying fertilizer in order to make an immediate return on money, which is a good thing. Avoid using workers, they cost you money. I mean, in this case, I'm doing a worker because I can read chat and I can watch things happening. I don't have to mess around, although it is painful to watch at times. I think I might take over after this run. Go home, worker. I said, go home, worker. Thank you. Okay, we will reverse and there we go. Because while he's doing a lot of it, he is leaving a lot of patches at the top there that I'm just going to have to go back and do again anyway. I'm not sure he left much down this end. The other thing, plan your animals. On Augustheim I bought chickens and bags of chicken food because it's cheap. And frankly, yeah, if you want chickens, go out and buy them, they don't cost anything. And even the wheat's not too expensive. But make sure you've got some wheat in the ground so there's something to feed them the next year. But sheep need grass or hay. And if you're playing seasons, there's not going to be any grass or hay for till around where I am now. And in fact, there's the existing fields have grass in. I could go out and cut some grass fields. As it was, I bought 6 bales of hay, 42 sheep, and the sheep barely ate 1 bale. So, oh, you pain in the butt. But cows take a lot of prep. You're going to need the silage, you're going to, well, if you want them to produce lots of stuff, you're going to need the silage, you're going to need the hay, you're going to need the straw. You're either going to have to pay for that, and a lot of it because cows are very hungry, or you're going to have to plan for it. If I'm buying cows on this farm, I'm not buying cows till possibly winter, fall. Because I do not have the stuff available that the cows need. Plus the TMR mixer and milk, transporting stuff. You know, you need to consider all that stuff. It's an expense you really don't need when you start up. Okay, we will do this bit here. Look behind us, yep. So that's all done. And we'll run down here, see if there are any bits of, oh yeah, there's bits of grass. We'll chop up that. And then I'll flick that over. That's not going to look good at that end, but it's close enough. set that off on a worker. I think I've set him off at slightly the wrong angle. Let's try that again. Okay. So not that way. Line up on the cab and aim for that right left side of those trees. And then